Robert Cahaly, welcome to Planet America.
It's good to be here.
So tell us, how did you identify the shy Trump voter?
We look at kind of like it's a three-legged stool. The first is we reject traditional polling. The idea that you can call 30, 40 questions, you can call someone to give them 30 or 40 questions is insane. I don't know about you, but I don't know anybody who, if they got a call at 7 o'clock at night, would stop what they're doing and answer 30 questions and spend 20 minutes on the phone. No one does. So you have to answer your first question is, who are these people who have this kind of time? And what the answer it always comes back to be is these people are either in a pre-certified poll taker universe, which means they really like politics, or they're people who are on the extremes, if you're actually calling voters, that are on the extreme of opinion on either side. So step one is shorter political surveys. Step two is, who do you call? We try to call a different universe than a lot of people do. We try to look for voters that we feel, for whatever reason, are going to be motivated. And we built a model. We said, all right, if somebody shares, like I think it was 11 or 12 of these 57 characteristics, we're going to consider them a possible voter. But the third most important way to identify the hidden voters is understand, in the day and age where we have now, where people are being kind of shamed for their opinions and people are being doxxed and they're being completely ridiculed on social media and elsewhere, and in some places canceled, what are the odds if she's for Trump, she's going to say so? I would tell you she's not.
Robert, why would there be more shy voters now than in the past? What's changed, if anything?
That one's easy. 4 years ago, the worst they were called was deplorable. Now you can be called all kinds of names that are just horrible to be called. People make assumptions because someone says they're for Trump. They assume all of the worst things that are said about Trump must exist in that person. We ask a series of other questions. In 2016, we asked the neighbor question. How do you think most of your neighbors are voting? And that's how we kind of figured out who the shy Trump ones were versus the ones that were giving their first answer, and we saw what the difference was. And we did that again in 2018. It's one of the reasons we were one of the only firms that got Florida correctly, because there was a shy vote in the governor's race in Florida, but not a shy vote in the Senate race. And so when there's a politically correct choice to make, and you're not for the politically correct choice, people have learned to kind of keep their mouth shut. Because in America, we've seen people who express their opinions, lose their jobs and things a lot worse.
So, Robert, in your view right now, is there another November surprise brewing? Is Trump doing much better than most polls are suggesting?
Oh, yes. It won't be a surprise to us, as it wasn't a surprise 4 years ago when we predicted 306 to 232, which ended up being right. I would tell you, if the election were today, he would still win the Electoral College by at least 4%, by 4 votes on the Electoral College. But I think it is probably set to get better. And when we're talking about cancel culture, when we're talking about taking down statues, when we're talking about defunding police, and we're talking about mob violence in the streets, Donald Trump is winning.
And do you think there could be some kind of tipping point if these shy Trump voters are seeing all the polls going very solidly against him, that they could just simply become Trump non-voters, not turn up to vote because they're convinced that Biden's going to win?
I actually think no. So many of them report that they have felt bottled up in their inability to express their opinions without retribution on social media, at work, and even with some of their more casual friends. This is their outlet. This is the place that they get to go behind that curtain and express that opinion, and they want to go so bad they can't stand it. On the other hand, and this is why I say to those on the Democrat side and Biden's campaign, guys, I'm your Paul Revere. This thing is not as wide open as you think it is. This is a real race, and you need to get serious, because Biden voters, especially young people who think Biden's going to win easy, they're the ones who are going to be overconfident and not vote. They are actually working against the Biden campaign by doing this, even though they don't believe it.
Robert Cahaly, thank you very much for joining us on Planet America.
Good to talk to you.